So I saw this and I had to make a comment about it. This is a clip of Kirsche. She's a friend of Pipkin Pippa. I'm a big fan of both of them. More so Pippa than Kirsche. I haven't had a chance to really watch a lot of her stuff, but after this, I think I might change that. So let's see. So what we got.
Watching Running with Scissors getting absolutely owned for being backtracking was pretty.
Now I should mention I don't know Running with Scissors. I think they might be a development. I think they might be the ones behind the development of like Postal games, or maybe House Party. I'm not really sure.
Wonderful. That was a
It's not what's
wonderful
important.
during my downtime.
Let her cook.
I can't imagine why this happens, where somebody makes edgy content like Ethan Klein, like iDubbbz, like Running with Scissors as a video game company, like Howard Stern as a shock jock DJ back in the day. I don't
I remember
understand how
Howard
these
Stern.
people can make their living, make their money, make their
Also, I'm not really sure what it is she's doing with her model turned to the side and kind of wiggling back and forth. I'm not sure what that's about, but
legacy off of like edgy and subculture humor, and then pull the ladder up behind them and kind of say "fuck you" to everyone else who wants to do the same thing.
Running with Scissors did make Postal. Okay, I was right.
Yeah, they made the Postal series. There was some other game talking about how like they put a disclaimer in their game for something that simulated a sexual assault that happens to a character in their game. And Steam wanted them to remove it because they didn't think that whatever they had in their game actually simulated sexual assault. And so Running with Scissors was just like, you know, you're probably gonna have to dilute your game a little bit for the sake of having it on the store. Like you can't have edgy stuff like that in your game. And if you have
Okay, because this obviously applies to more than just video game development, but I cannot stand people who build their name, build their fame, their fortune, they come up using certain things, and then the moment that starts to no longer be useful or helpful to them, or maybe proves to be helpful to somebody else, they want to switch things up on you. You can't trust people like that because they don't stand for anything. Like, take me, for example. Look at me. Obviously, I know what I'm doing. Wouldn't it be pretty terrible of me to wait until YouTube says, hey, do you want to monetize your channel, to all of a sudden want to clean up my act or change the way that I do things? It would be terrible. It would be absolutely awful. If you think for a second that YouTube's chump change that they're going to offer me is going to make me change the way that I do things, you got me fucked up. But people do that. They'll use things as a tool or as a label because they think that it's going to make them more popular or get more eyes on them. And then as soon as that stops being useful in the way that they want it to be, bam. They're something completely different now. They've changed their ways, or they don't want you to do things the way that they used to do things. No. No. Scummy. That is a telltale sign of a backstabber. Somebody that you cannot trust, that you cannot rely on. And I have this problem a lot. Way, way, way too much, where the people around me, they talk a certain way. They'll say stuff like, oh, you can call on me whenever you need me. Let me know if you need something, if you ever need help, yada, yada, yada. And then you actually call on them, and they're fucking gone. They're really, really quick to leave you somewhere stuck looking stupid. I hate it.
have a little bit of censorship in order to sell, well, that's fine. And then they got called out for having like an achievement called like ape rape at some point, and they were like, "We have never pale booty mom getting spanked at work. We have never had rape in our games, and we never will." And then like the guy providing screenshots, and they were like, "Oh, it's nice of you to not use the real name of the achievement to just fit your narrative." And he was like, "Yeah, you guys didn't change it until 2020." And there's like a whole list of their achievement like icons and shit that they changed.
So they had things that used words that YouTube doesn't like. I don't care. They had rape achievements or something like that, and then changed it at some point, and then tried to sit there and pretend that it was never what it used to be. Like they never had. Yeah, no. That's the sort of stuff that people. It sounds like they're getting raked over the coals over it, and I'm glad.
They even removed pings from achievement icons. If I ever went back to Steam and Honey Pop took away my trophies, I would have a fit.
A lot of that got cut out because of the censorship, but essentially she's saying if they censored Honey Pop after so long, she would lose it. And it makes sense, you know? It's, I want to say it's something akin to false advertising. And it's just a very deceitful way to do things. Like don't be that person. Don't be the type of person to just flip on a dime because people just don't stand for anything anymore. And it's getting harder and harder, unfortunately, to weed those people out. So when moments like this pop up, you need to call them out every single time because someone's got to stand for something,
The people
regardless
who
of
are
what it
too
actually
quick to
is.
turn on their principles, to grovel at the feet of people just because they're in power, are going to be
Facts.
some of the first to be culled. Because
Facts.
they're independent thinkers normally, even if they're willing to
Yep.
eschew their principles for a little bit of table scraps. They're not going to keep you around because you are not actually inherently useful past getting their ideology pushed publicly.
All of that is true. All of that is true. I want to talk about it though. What are some instances where you found people don't really stand for the things that they claim to? What are some instances where people have changed up their ideologies, their mindset in order to appeal to other people? You don't have to name names or specifics. Just give me a general idea of it because it's got to be happening to a lot of people out there in a lot of different ways and situations. Not just game development, not content creation, just people who are maybe it's political, maybe it's something like they're down for a politician because he's popular, but they don't actually agree with anything that that politician stands for, something like that. I don't actually want to get into politics, of course. That's a messy area. That's a bag that I want to keep closed. But it applies. It's applicable to this. Anyway, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in another video.